in, everybody. Welcome in. I'm sending out my shares really quickly. I hope that you had not only an amazing weekend, but also an amazing week. We were not live last week, if you did not notice. Or maybe we went live one day last week or something like that. Crazy, chaotic, busy time. It didn't pan out the way that I expected it to, but it did go well. So I'm happy to not only have you guys back, but to also be in your presence, to be sitting down here with you guys. I need to apply for my stream key so I can stream from my camera and have my little microphone and everything, which is right here with me, so that way I can use my complete setup that you guys saw in that last video. So if you did not see that video, it is one posted fully on YouTube, and then the short section of it is posted here on TikTok, and as well as shorts on YouTube. So if you are new here and you do not know who I am, hi, my name is Kay. I'm a plant-based lifestyle strategist. I'm here in supporting you in understanding how to have metabolic reversal and truly helping you be the person that is in a health position that goes forward in a trending stabilization rather than upward towards negativity of illness and disease, cancer, and etc. Because as someone that positions himself as a health position architect, I want to help you be able to understand inflammation, dive deeper into insulin resistance, and truly get down to the nitty gritty of your health. Thank you for the follows and thanks for the likes. I really appreciate it. So if you are suffering or struggling with a diagnosis of insulin, or you have an overload of inflammation and the insulin loop is just keeping you stuck, and you feel stuck with your health journey and you don't see it going the way that it should be, whether you are trying diets or you are eating healthier foods or you are cutting out sugar, or maybe you're just simply just lost in it all and you feel overwhelmed and you're not getting the health results that you were looking for, you don't want to depend on medication. And medication has been suggested to you and it's been mentioned, but this is not the space that you want to be in, nor the life that you want to live. We are not here for just general wellness tips, but we are here for the women. I am here for the women that have been diagnosed, that are in a body that feels unnatural, that feels like it's disconnected from them, and that you are looking for a change and you're needing a change, and you're needing that something that is going to fully help you in the aspect of helping your inflammation and lowering that inflammation and getting rid of insulin resistance. So if you feel like that you are pre-diabetic, or you've been diagnosed, or that you have insulin resistance, and it's a struggle for you to figure out what's going on, and you've tried the different diets and they're not working, and so your doctor has told you, let's go on ahead and let's monitor it and try to eat better, but they haven't given you an actual plan, and they're telling you to come back in a few months and see what happens. They're playing a guessing game with your health, and so are you, because you're going to go home, you're going to try all these different things, whether it's keto, paleo, Weight Watchers, or etc., and maybe eating salads twice, 3, 4 every day of the week, or however many days that you feel fit, right? And there's no real plan. And so then guess what? You have no real changes. And when you wait and you just wait and hope that something changes, you feel it. You feel that nothing is going right. You feel that nothing is changing. You feel thrown off. And this makes you panic when you go to the doctor and you get a diagnosis and they tell you, okay, now you have to start taking insulin, because we see what diabetes does to the body. We see how it takes a toll on the body. We see how stressful it is to have to take insulin every single day. And so that puts a weight on you. That makes you feel uncomfortable within yourself as well as with your health journey. And waiting for things to get better is only going to make things worse. So instead of having a panic inside of you and activate panic, let's activate awareness so that we can get to a space that strategically moves you out of this panic. Thank you for the gifts, and thank you for the likes, and thank you for the shares. How is everybody doing today? Welcome in, welcome in. So insulin resistance isn't just some label. It is not a space where you should just say this is end all be all. This is where I'm stuck at. But understand that it's an early stage of metabolic dysfunction. That means your metabolism is not working the way that it should be. And so since your metabolism is not working the way that it should be, all your other internal systems are having to overcompensate because you have high cortisol. Now, your pancreas is not working the way that it should be in detoxifying all these toxins that you eat and come in contact with. You have an issue with your blood being regulated and being clean because your kidneys are not cleaning them correctly. You have too much sugar in the blood. You have too much sugar operating throughout the body. And this toxic sugar versus natural sugar is throwing your body off so much that it cannot even recognize the real sugar that comes from fruits, and all sugar becomes a danger. And so when it's left uncorrected after years of having this metabolic dysfunction, having insulin resistance, this is the progress that takes you towards type 2 diabetes. So you were progressing in that way. And as you go on, it's not a dramatic, oh, it happens overnight, but it's a slow, quiet, predictable process that can be avoided. These doctors know it can be avoided and they understand what the process looks like, but they're not taught how to help you prevent and to remove the issue. They are taught how to manage it with the prescription. So that's the reason why you have to wait a couple months, and they know that you're going to trend towards the direction of diabetes or insulin resistance, and they're just waiting for you to be able to be completely diagnosed based on their charts. And so women are placed in a position of monitoring instead of being given a path for correction so that we feel comfortable and have a set plan so that you can get rid of this. And it also is going to benefit your cycle if you are struggling with your cycle, whether it's painful, heavy, or a mixture of both, or just overall it's not the way that it should be. You have to look at your metabolism. You have to look at your insulin. You have to look at your inflammation. Because when you recognize it in yourself, when you see yourself, when you understand and recognize the symptoms that you're having, if you're having an inflammation in your body, if you're feeling puffy and bloated, heavy, uncomfortable, tired all the time, fatigued, even after you rest, craving a whole bunch of sugar and you can't figure out why, right? Looking for that quick energy from coffee or caffeine in general. Having that weight gain that is just in your midsection you can't get rid of and you're trying to figure out why. Feeling foggy and disconnected all the time, just thrown off. You're trying these things like diets and they're not working. You're trying medications, you're trying supplements. And the hardest part of it all isn't the fact that you're trying new things. It's you thinking, I have to cut this out and I'm going to suffer through my health journey. This is the way that it goes. Because that's not your truth. Cutting things out, trying to have more discipline in this space and pushing yourself more and more and your body isn't responding is the hard part. The hard part is not finding the results that you were looking for in a place where you were taught that in order for you to be healthy, you cut out carbs, right? You have to calorie count. You have to starve and be hungry all day. But guess what? You're going to have the summer body by the end of it. That causes frustration, and that frustration turns into confusion if it's already not a combination of both. The body responds when you have a correct set strategy and a plan. So most women are never taught how to eat for your health, eat for your body, use food as your medicine. We are taught that food is the enemy, and unless it's something like a salad and a whole bunch of greens and uncomfortable and you're starving, this is the only way for you to be healthy. And if you're not doing that, you won't be healthy. You won't lose weight. But instead of you thinking about the fact that it's starving yourself and taking away and not having enough and being uncomfortable, think about it as inflammation and insulin resistance are a problem. What has caused it? Okay, we have the roots. Now we have a root. Guess what? Now we can start feeding the body what it needs to start reversing what's going on. So as you were sitting here and every single day you were feeding your body, you have to think about food is a kind of in a way, if like a computer has code, it is code for your body. So your body reads the food, it detects the food, and it understands what it can use and it understands what it can't. So when you're eating a whole bunch of foods, processed foods, dairy, meat, and etc., things that your body is not asking for, that's not craving, that it's not needing, when you're not eating enough fruits, you're not eating enough vegetables, you're not drinking enough water, and it doesn't need all of these added inflammatory toxins on top of it, or inflammatory foods just in general, you are feeding your body information that says you're not safe here. But when you feed your body code and information that says, ooh, not only do we have enough nutrients, we're going to the bathroom with enough fiber, and we're using our body's glucose for energy, and we're releasing every day, and we're supported every single day, the body starts to turn around and say, you know what? I can trust you. And since I can trust you and I feel comfortable with what you are doing to my body and for my body, I can now give back to you. So now, guess what? Now you have energy when you wake up. Now you don't feel bloated anymore. Now you are in a space where when you eat, you are not going into insulin resistance every single time you eat because you understand how to use stabilizers with your food, right? It's a loop of consistently taking care of yourself to make your body feel safe, to make your body feel comfortable. But when you don't know what's actually going on inside of your body, when you don't understand what insulin spikes look like, what blood sugar spikes feel like, what they look like, how they resemble a problem in the body, you just think that the itis after you eat is normal. You think that these things that we have going on are normal, of fatigue, bloating, painful cycles, irregular cycles, just a non-natural menstrual cycle is normal. Not knowing your 4 cycle phases is normal. But these things are common. It's not normal to have these things. When blood sugar spikes, your insulin is going to spike as well. When this happens repeatedly, over and over again, years after year, insulin is going to stay elevated. And as this insulin stays elevated, you are constantly going to have a body that stores more. You're going to have a body that burns less calories. And you're going to have a body that is so stressed out that now your cortisol has raised. And now your cortisol has been raised for years. And this stress shows up as inflammation. So all of those inflammatory responses that you are having of bloating, of having no energy and all the fatigue, of having all those inflammatory responses of you having, a lot of women come to me talk about they have headaches. And I have to break this down to them all the time. Your headache is not just something because you were tired and stressed out. A migraine, a headache, and etc. does not come just from your life and stress. Headaches come from a lack of hydration and inflammation. And that's a response from your brain to let you know something could either be passing your blood-brain barrier, which is dangerous because parasites can they can go past your blood-brain barrier. That's dangerous. They can literally feed off of your brain. They can feed off of your I forgot what the liquid is called that your brain is encapsulated in, but it passes through that barrier and it can feed off of that. And when you have so much inflammation, all you're doing is giving it a breeding ground to start attaching to your brain cells. That's dangerous. Thank you for the follows and the likes, guys. Because they don't do as much talk about the research that they've done when it comes to parasites. Parasites can give you a headache. Parasites are inflammatory, or rather, parasites cause an inflammatory response because parasites are not supposed to be able to live and thrive in your space enough to live longer than just maybe, let's say, a day of having healthy bowel movements. Like, you should be regularly releasing. And when you have too many parasites in the body, or just a handful, or even just any parasites in the body, your foods should be taking them out daily. Like, let's say that you do eat meat. I don't eat meat. I've been plant-based for over 5 years. It's been about 5.5 almost. I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat since then, right? Meat carries parasites, so it's going to cause parasites to be in the body. The only way that it can thrive and live in the body is if it has something to feed off of. So thinking about all the people who take parasitic cleanses and they do that on the regular and have to do that on the regular. Let's say regular is a month for them because you eat so much meat in a month. Every single day you eat meat. Multiple times a day you eat meat. You should be doing a cleanse at least every 2 weeks when you eat meat, because parasites live in meat. It's a rotting, dead animal, right? We know this. So think about how we know that something that is rotting, that is decayed, you should not be eating mold in general. If fruit has mold on it, you throw it away, right? If something's decaying, you throw it away. Meat sits on the side of the road, and you have to think of the animals that eat off of it. Maggots, flies, all these other things start attaching to it, and animals don't touch it. You consume this meat, the parasites don't go away. They don't just disappear because you cook it. Because we've seen all of the evidence from not only people doing scientific studies on how parasitic infections happen and how they thrive in the body. We all know what a tapeworm looks like. Everybody's had that whole tapeworm scare. If you haven't had that scare as a child, you're lucky. But I feel like cartoons used to really do it early in the 90s, like early 2000s, of like having like parasitic infections when it comes to tapeworms and making that like a horror thing. And that kind of scared me as a kid, thinking like anybody can get a tapeworm at any time. And that causes an inflammatory response in the body. That's the reason why they get so sick. Like, you have to think about that's the reason why people look so sickly. It's not just because the parasite is feeding off of everything that you eat, but it's literally causing an inflammatory response in the body. And that's why you get things like headaches, you get migraines, you have all these hunger cravings and all these cues that you didn't have before. It's the reason why they get like induced vomiting sometimes. Like, it's because the inflammation is so high and the cells are stopped responding correctly. And this is what happens when you have things like insulin resistance, or when you have issues of like blood sugar spikes, because your inflammation is so high in the body, your body can no longer respond to insulin in the body correctly. So your cells are sitting here panicking every time you eat any type of sugar, or any time that you spike your blood sugar or your insulin, because regardless of what you were eating, whether it is a sugary treat like cookies, ice cream, cake, and etc., or if you're just eating something like a steak, some french fries, and whatever other sides of like green beans or something, if you don't have any stabilizers in your food, you are going to spike your blood sugar. This is the reason why you can eat a whole Thanksgiving meal, which is a whole hearted meal, right? It has a little bit of carbs, or a lot of carbs. It has a lot of meat. You know, you have some sweets with it. You have a plethora of different things, vegetables, things that you normally don't always eat on the regular, right? And you have a plethora, which should be a healthy, hearty plate, even though you eat too much and you think that's what the itis is coming from. You still eat that same plate in a regular portion, you are still going to feel the itis because there's no stabilizers for your blood sugar. So since there's no stabilizers for your blood sugar, guess what happens? You get sleepy. Because the body goes, ooh, we don't have enough energy. We didn't unlock the cells, but we have a whole lot of insulin. So now, just like how people, when they have diabetes and they eat sugar and they go into, quote, like a diabetic coma, which means AKA like if they just simply go into the itis of they're sleepy and they had too much sugar, so they have to go lay down. That's what your body does. And we go through that every day, or not every day, but consistently, as people who think that having the itis is just you ate good, right? And you have to think about, you have the same symptoms as somebody who has diabetes. You have those same symptoms. So this means 4 years. It's not just when you have diabetes it happens, but 4 years you've been putting yourself in an insulin resistant state and fueling and feeding diabetes to give it a place to live. So when you are in a space where that insulin, or your cells are not responding to insulin properly, your glucose is going to elevate itself because you are not unlocking the cells at the correct rate. Insulin increases itself even more because guess what? Now you're holding on and you're recycling glucose, insulin, and your body is going, I don't know what to do. And now you have a whole bunch of cells just not doing their job correctly because they're not unlocked. Fat storage is going to increase. Your energy is going to drop like we just talked about, and your inflammation is going to worsen. Thank you for your heart, me. So it's an endless loop that is going to make you feel stuck. It's understandable why so many women feel stuck, and it's understandable why so many people deal with that thought of, if I'm gonna get it anyway, I might as well eat what I want to eat. Because when you are in that endless loop, it feels like you're going to get it anyway. But when you step outside of what society has taught us is normal and see that it is common, but it's not normal for my body to feel this way, and start to dissect why you are feeling this, why these symptoms are happening, get to the root so you can fix it. It's not just about the willpower that you have, but it's about understanding the loop so that you can dissect it and make a plan. It's not just about, okay, I have diabetes now, or I have insulin now, like, or insulin resistance, not insulin, but I have insulin resistance now. You have to bring it into fruition. When you want to change, you have to figure out the roots. It's not just about just running around in circles and playing a guessing game. Skipping meals causes your blood sugar to drop, which causes your cortisol to rise. And we're taught in diet culture, right? Skip that breakfast. Don't eat that breakfast. And if you're going to eat that breakfast, don't make it a big calorie meal. Here's this little fiber one bar. We rush through meals based on our days because a lot of us work. All of us work. You have to work to live, right? We're taught that. You rush through a meal because you need time for yourself. You rush through a meal because you're ready to go lay down. You rush through a meal because guess what? McDonald's is more convenient during your lunchtime than you making a meal, preparing it, and having it ready for you. And then digestion takes a toll because of this. And this is going to cause a spike in your insulin. It's going to cause a spike in your cortisol, and it's going to cause more inflammation. You eat an unbalanced, Very unhealthy meal, like we just talked about with no stabilizers. So then guess what? Glucose is going to surge. It's going to go higher and higher, which causes your insulin to spike. You're stressed out. Guess what? Blood sugar rises again. These are the daily habits that we have that cause all these issues in the body. And it's not because you're doing something wrong, and it's not because that you have failed. It's what we have been taught and how the system has regulated our bodies under their provision to keep us a customer. Because no one has showed us how our body actually works. Nobody has showed us how to actually get to the root cause so we can make a change, so that we can shift away from this. We've tried to fix it with cutting carbs and eating less and working out more, right? Starting new diets and quitting those and starting over again and again and again. But when you approach the body in a space where it's already stressed out and you're just giving it a little dribble of what it needs, by eating those salads, taking a supplement for your iron and for your gut health, right? Or maybe for your brain health. It's not giving it a full plethora of what it needs. So that's like you sitting here saying, my plant needs water, right? My plant has to have water and sunlight. And you giving it a 2-second glimpse of light with a UV light, flicking it on, flicking it off, and then sprinkling water with your fingers like this, like it's seasoning, and saying, that's good, that's enough. When the plant has not been watered in weeks and it has not seen the sun in weeks, that's not going to help. You're just putting a Band-Aid on the problem instead of giving it exactly what it needs. You're sprinkling in what you think it needs. Listen to the body and approach it with what it needs. Stress causes cortisol. Cortisol causes a glucose spike. Glucose spikes causes your insulin to spike. And then inflammation is going to keep going through your body and wreaking havoc. So you go through this endless cycle, and you've been trying to solve the problem while unknowingly feeding this endless cycle because you were not taught. And so this is why we have to work in a different direction, and this is why we have to dissect it differently. We have to sit back and understand how our body is structured, and we have to understand our body structure so that we can make a plan according to that structure, so that we have a change in our habits that go along with our physiology. So you have to know what is working for you versus what is working against you. So when you understand blood sugar regulation in the body, and you understand how when you eat, you're supposed to stabilize your body so you have stable energy, you'll understand that the itis is something that you don't want to achieve with a good, yummy meal. Because yes, you can have a good, yummy meal and not feel the itis right after and feel like you have to take a nap, or better yet, be led to the point where you do just take a nap, because what else can you do? You're out for the count, right? Stabilizing your insulin, which comes from you creating a habit pattern that is not only in a place of normalizing eating more, because people hate to hear that. When they hear diet culture, you think eating less and starving. A lot of you don't eat enough. My most recent client that I worked with, my most recent program that is no longer available, that program, or my last program, because my most recent is open right now, my last program, we had a talk about eating more, and that shocked her because she's like, I've always been small. I'm now in a point where I'm gaining weight and I'm not understanding why, and I'm eating the same amount that I used to. And I asked her how much she ate, and she was telling me basically like, sometimes I skip lunch because I don't eat breakfast and usually just wait until dinner. I might have a snack at work. If not, I'm eating lunch and dinner, and then that's probably it. And lunch is something small. If it's big, then dinner's small. And that was like, you're not eating enough. And that kind of shocked her because people aren't used to hearing that. But when you understand that when you're not eating enough, the body also is going to suffer, because just because you were told to fast your way into being healthy, fasting is great. But you have to have a stable body to fast and have the effective results that you are looking for in a fast. When you fast and you have a whole bunch of toxins, the body's already not getting enough nutrients on a regular day, it doesn't have enough energy, all you're doing is telling your body that there's famine, and so now we need to hold on to things. Now you're telling your cells something is wrong. Start recycling because we probably won't have enough food tomorrow. You're telling your body to panic instead of telling your body it's okay to flush. And that's the disconnect that a lot of people don't understand. So when you start eating more and eating foods of the colors of the rainbow, eating a rainbow plate, your body starts to say, we have enough nutrients now. So when you do want to do a healthy, effective fast, the body doesn't go, I don't have enough iron, nor do I have enough fiber. I don't have enough magnesium today. There's not enough vitamin C. Like straight panicking. Stop making your body panic, because when it is in that panic state, that's an inflammatory response. Instead, we're trying to have an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. So in order for you to have this anti-inflammatory lifestyle and reduce this internal stress, you have to signal to your body that we are not going to keep having these dysfunctional habits. So you have to get into having a structure that teaches you daily rhythm with your body instead of against your body. And so if you are looking for a space that is going to help you be able to have that change, shift away from all of these pain points that you are having and have energy that's steady, have those cravings that are quieter, have those inflammatory responses soften and to stop causing you discomfort and pain daily. Have sleep that is regular, that is calm. Have a mind that is clearer, and have a body that actually can trust you and starts to trust you fully. My Metabolic Reversal Program is linked to my bio. This Metabolic Reversal Program is here to support you in not only lowering your inflammation and stabilizing your body, but also allows you to balance your metabolism so that you are not suffering with these issues anymore, that you are able to have a body that trusts you and you feel comfortable and have those sustainable habits for long-term success. Because diet culture teaches you how to momentarily be comfortable and momentarily take care of your body. It does not teach you how to fully shift so that way you have structure, so that the body looks at you and says, you're creating a space where I can feel comfortable and disease and illness does not thrive here. So you have to have a space of correction, not a momentary band-aid and management, not another supplement. And if you have been diagnosed and you were looking for a space to change the trajectory of your health, don't wait to another appointment. Don't wait until there's 3 or 6 months checkup, right? Your step is to join my program, be ready to start actually implementing things in your life, and have the mindset of that this will work for you, because it's mindset work first. If you have the mindset of, I'm going to have diabetes, everybody, all the women in my family have diabetes, you're going to develop diabetes. But when you have the mindset of understanding the body only goes into insulin resistance based on the foods that I eat, and I've been eating wrong, and I have not been taking care of my body correctly, so I'm ready to start doing these things, you will have the mindset of somebody who is ready for a healthy change outside of diet culture, and you will see the results that you were looking for in my program. So if you guys have any questions for me, please drop any of the questions that you have down below. And if you don't have any questions, I will be getting off and I will be back tomorrow. Is my plan to come back tomorrow. And if not, I'll be back on Tuesday. But I'm going to try to get it knocked out the beginning of this week since I have things to do towards the end of the week. So I'm trying to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to stream this week for us here on TikTok. And then I post Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube. But if you do not see me tomorrow, you will see me Tuesday and you will see me on Friday of this week. That is my schedule. That is my plan for this week. Any questions for me at all? Thank you guys for liking up the live. I appreciate you guys for all the gifts. Any questions? Any questions? And thank you guys for the shares. I see you. I see you. Let's see if I missed anything. I'm scrolling. And you asked if Paris doesn't give a headache. I think it filtered you out if you're still here, because you said I meant me, but I don't see any other messages. So I think that filters you out. Any questions before I get off? If you guys don't have any questions for me, please go check out my YouTube. It is linked in my bio. Like I said, if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm a plant-based lifestyle strategist. My name is Kay. I'm here every single week, 3 times a week, as well as I'm over on YouTube. I post Tuesday and Thursdays. Please follow me there as well. Don't miss any of the content. And if you have missed any past lives, they are on there already. I'm not seeing any questions, so I am going to hop off. I hope that you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your Sunday, a great start to your week, and peace, y'all. I am out.